Good evening, everyone. This is Miss Xiao here. Welcome to the second installment of Algebra and Algebraic Manipulation for the month of November 2020. Today, we'll be going through another question with regards to this topic, and I hope that you will find this session enriching. Now, let's take a look at the question. Before you attempt anything, you might want to get ready some paper, stationery, and a calculator so that you can work out this question before we go through the answers. Question 31. This question is taken from Discovering Mathematics 3, and it's written by Chow Wai Kiong and Yong Fuk Ming, and it's published by Star Publishing Private Limited. So the question reads, the route of a cycling competition is from city A via city B to city C. The distance between A and B is 96 kilometers, and the distance between B and C is 72 kilometers. Joe traveled at an average speed of X kilometers per hour from A to B. He then traveled at an average speed of X plus 4 kilometers per hour from B to C. Express in terms of X the time taken for Joe to travel from part 1, A to B, part 2, B to C. Question B. Joe completed the journey in 4.5 hours. Form an equation in X and show that it reduces to 3x squared minus 100x minus 256 equals to 0. C. Solve the equation 3x squared minus 100x minus 256 equals to 0, giving your answers correct to 2 decimal places. And the last question, D. Hence, find the time taken for Joe to travel from B to C. Now, let's take a look at how we could solve this problem. Okay, for the benefit of understanding this question, perhaps it would be good if you could draw out something. So let's say if I were to draw out the entire route. Okay, and we have city A, city B, and city C. So I'm going to let this be city A. And city C will be right at the end. Now, distance between city A and B is 96 kilometers as mentioned in the question. So distance between B and C is 72. So I would say that B is probably nearer to C than to A. So I would put B somewhere here. Okay, and distance between A and B, 96 kilometers. Distance between B and C, 72 kilometers. Okay, so that would be like the summary of the first 2 sentences. Now next, let's see where we could put in the rest of the information into the diagram. Joe traveled at an average speed of X kilometers per hour from A to B. So his average speed from A to B, I'm going to put it down as X kilometers per hour. And for the average speed between B and C, that would be X plus 4 kilometers per hour. Okay, now next. Question A, express in terms of X the time taken for Joe to travel from A to B, B to C. As we know, when we learn in primary school, with regards to distance, speed, and time, there is a formula that we follow, right? Distance is actually equals to speed or average speed multiplied by time. So in order to find time, okay, in this case of between A and B, I'm going to put it as T. That would be distance divided by average speed. So we have 96 over X, and the unit used here is hours. Now, with regards to the distance between, with regards to the time between B and C, the traveling between B and C, that will be 72, which is the distance, divided by x plus 4 hours. Okay. Now, so that would actually be the answer for A part 1 and A part 2. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be 72. It's always good to check our answers, right? Okay, now let's move on. B. Joe completed the journey in 4.5 hours. So completed the journey and you're given a time means that you're referring to the time, 96 over x hours, in addition to 72 over x plus 4 hours. And these two actually adds up to 4.5 hours. That's what the second part of the question is trying to say. So question says, ask us to form an equation in x and show that it reduces to the equation given. So let's try to put them all together. So we have 96 over x plus 72 over x plus 4, and that gives you 4.5. Now do a double check that at every term, the units are the same. And in this case, yes, indeed, every term, the unit is hours. How do we try to form it or manipulate it and form a quadratic equation? Now let's see. You realize that in the quadratic equation that is given in part B, there are no fractions. So we will need to somehow put two fractions, get rid of the fractions. Okay, so how do we get out the fractions? We have to probably combine the first two fractions on the left hand side into one first. So if we were to combine both fractions into one, we have to find out what's the common denominator of both fractions. Common denominator of both fractions will actually be x multiplied by x plus 4. Okay, because both are unlike terms. So for the first term, 96 over x, numerator and denominator have to be multiplied by x plus 4. So I take 96 multiplied by x plus 4 plus 72. This term has to be multiplied by x itself. Okay, equals to 4.5. Now I would like to change 4.5 here into an improper fraction instead of a mixed number. Okay, so that would actually help us to move on to eliminating the fraction by cross multiplication. So that is my intention later. Okay, but anyway, before that, what we could do is to simplify what we have on the left hand side. So to simplify what we have on the left hand side, let's expand the numerators and the denominators. Okay, and by expanding, what we have will be 96x plus 384 plus 72x over x squared. So here you do have the x squared. So we do see a quadratic coming up. Plus 4x equals to 9 out of 2. Okay. And at this point, of course, we could do a cross multiplication. So I'll just put the across here so that you know how I'm going to obtain the answers to the next step. Okay, so from here, if I cross multiply, I will take 96 multiply by 2, right? So 96, sorry, let me get my calculator. I think I might have to pause a little. Okay, I don't have my calculator here, I'm so sorry. Actually, okay, 96 times 2, 192x, okay, plus 384 multiplied by 2, 768 plus 105 44. X equals to 9x squared plus 36x. All right. Okay, I hope you've got that. Then at this point, we will simplify 192 and x together with 144x. Both can be combined to form 336x. 768 remains. Okay, now I'm going to form the quadratic. So 9x squared remains on one end. I'm going to move 336 over to the right hand side. So what I will be having is minus 300 minus 300x minus 768. Okay, equals to 0. Okay, it doesn't look like what the question is wanting us to find, but what we could see is that in the question, we do have 3x squared. Okay, and if we compare to the quadratic that we have over here, you realize that our coefficient of x squared is 9. So it looks like if we were to consider dividing all the terms, okay, in a quadratic that we have by 3, maybe we could end up with what the question is asking for. So let's try to divide every term by 3. Okay, so this implies that it is 3x squared minus 100x minus, so 768 divided by 3 as well, we will get 256 equals to 0. And yes, we did manage to show that it reduces to this. So I'll put down shown to tell the examiner or the marker that yes, I managed to show what you have asked me to. Okay, and for C, we'll try to solve the equation, giving my answer to two decimal places. So given this, okay, to solve this, let's try using the quadratic formula. Okay, so the quadratic formula is minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. All right, in case you need a refresher. And in relation to that, the first coefficient is actually that of a. The second coefficient, which is minus 100, is actually that of b. And the third coefficient, which is minus 256, is that of c. Okay, and after we do a direct substitution, we will be having minus 100. So it's actually plus positive 100 plus minus 100 square minus 4 times 3 times minus 256. Okay, I gotta extend my square root sign over 2 times of a. Okay, and if you were to punch these numbers into the calculator, you'll work it out to 35.72 and to negative 2.39 corrected to 2 decimal places. So that's the answer for C. If you do this question and you cannot get the answer for B, let's say you cannot show that it reduces to that particular quadratic equation, you could move on to C to solve based on the equation given. Okay, it doesn't mean that if you cannot solve for B means you are stuck at C and D. No, you can actually continue to solve for C based on the equation given. Yeah, so that's one thing to take note. Okay, now we're going to move on to D. Hence, find the time taken for Joe to travel from B to C. So from B to C, if we were to refer back to the drawing, the time that is taken would actually be referring to this portion here. Yeah. So the time taken will be 72 divided by x plus 4. Now at this point, we have found two values of x, right? So let's take a look. With regards to time taken to travel from B to C, if we were to consider x equals to 35.72, let's consider case 1. X equals to 35.72. Time will be 72 over 35.72 plus 4. And that will give us 1.81 hours. Okay, so this is a probable answer. Let's take a look at case 2. Because sometimes there might be two answers, sometimes there might be one rejected answer based on how reasonable the answer is. So in this case, for case 2, x is equals to negative 2.39. And if we were to substitute it into the equation, we will end up with 44.7 hours. Okay, now, based on these two answers, which would be a reasonable answer? Could it be 1.81 hours to travel or 44.7 hours? We refer back to facts given in the question. Now, if you were to look at the question, it is actually stated that the entire journey was completed in 4.5 hours. So no way it could be 44.7 hours, to travel between B and C. So therefore, this answer is rejected. And therefore, the answer for the distance, the time taken to travel between B and C is actually 1.81 hours. So I will put our answer being 1.81 hours, corrected to 3 significant figures. So that will be our answer for the question. I hope you understand how this question is being worked out based on all the working shown over here. Now, if you would like to find out more about the other learning resources that I have, do check out my blog, Facebook posts, or check out my YouTube resource channel, whereby I will be having new videos every week so that as I learn, you learn as well and you'll be enriched by it. Thank you.